Hey, what's up there, fellow throttle junkies? Today I want to give you a review of my 2024 Husqvarna FE501s. I have about 21 hours on the bike and about 600 miles. The type of riding I've been doing on it, excuse me, it's been everything from single track, double track, fire roads, open desert. I've taken out in some fairly gnarly stuff, some pretty good rock beds, and climbed some pretty good hills. I've done a couple 50-mile loops on it out in the desert with some buddies. The only thing I haven't had a chance to do is take it on the motocross track yet. A little bit about my background. I've been riding since I was a little kid. Started on the 50s, went to 80s, 125s, had a WR250F. I raced a CRF 450, broke my knee in 06. I was like, that's it, man. Put me out of work for 6 months as I'm done racing. Let's see, I had one other dual sport. That was a Suzuki DRS 250F. I had that in the early 90s when I was in the Marine Corps. I couldn't afford a car. That's all I could afford at the time, but I had a blast on it. When the Marine Corps deployed me, I ended up selling it, and I thought, you know what, I'll always give me another dual sport. So anyway, about the bike. Like I said, I've had the bike for about 4 or 5 months, I guess it is, and I've just been having an absolute blast on this bike. You know, one of the reasons I decided I'd even wanted to go with a dual sport, I do have a KTM 300 XC that I go out and I ride with my buddies on the you know, harder core single track. Is a lot of times I want to go and they can't go, and or vice versa because of work or other family obligations, and or there's a place that I want to ride and I don't want to load up the truck. I don't want to make a day of it. This bike allows me to leave my house legally and to ride to areas. Matter of fact, I'm at a place right across the street from where I live, and this allows me to go out there, have fun, maybe only ride for about 20 minutes or so, and then go back. Now that I'm in my mid-50s, man, I'm just trying to get as much riding as I possibly can because, you know, time's a clicking, man. You only got so many years to ride, so I'm making the best of it. So about the bike, when you first get the bike, there's some things I've done to it. When you first get the bike, you get the dinosaur tail that hangs down with the turn signals. Ditch that thing, man, because eventually it's going to break anyway. Matter of fact, I was out with a buddy of mine a couple weeks ago, and he went down, ended up losing his license plate. I went with the sick-ass fixed mounted plate. I would go with there's another one, it's called Enduro plate, I believe it's called, and it's magnetic. So basically, if you go down, it'll twist and then it'll pop back. I'll eventually upgrade to that. I went with the the Takomoto all-in-one turn signal and brake lights right here. So you have your brake light and your turn signals in there. It really tightens it up. If you decide to get that from Takomoto, he'll include an instruction video on how to put that together. It's not too bad. I ditched the TKC 80 tires. I believe that's what they're called, the stock ones. I mean, they're okay for the street, but my God, I almost killed myself out in the dirt on these things. They have like no traction. I put the Motos Desert HTs. Got about 10 hours on them. They're holding up pretty well, considering I have done a lot of street. I coupled that with the heavy duty tube, and when you get the bike, it comes with rim locks, but you're going to have to install them. So when you upgrade it, you can just put your rim locks on, and then I ended up balancing it out with the weights here. Put the STR rear disc guard on. I really like this one, anodized blue. If you decide to go with an STR or someone that's similar to this one, if you go to Slavin's Racing, he's got a great tutorial on how to install this. Basically, you take the tire off, you split this caliper, and this pin slides in here. It's not too difficult, doesn't take very long. One thing about this year's model I like they've done is they've put these wider foot pegs on there. It makes a big difference, especially compared to my KTM. I upgraded to the Graves titanium pipe, carbon fiber tip. I just threw this at Chirby's pipe guard on there. It's supposed to protect if you go down and crash, but we know that's a pipe dream. I coupled that with the Get ECU underneath the seat. I'll talk about that here in a second. I have the stock skid plate on here. It's actually a pretty solid skid plate, but I'll eventually upgrade to probably the molecules that comes up and protects the water pump, and more importantly, it just doesn't come down far enough to protect that linkage. I bought these over ridiculously priced double take mirrors, but they're pretty cool. I'm sure most of you know how they work. So you're out, you know, you're riding, you don't want to hit on trees or stuff. You just twist, they drop out of the way, you ride. Once you're done riding and the dirt, just put them back up, twist, and you're good to go. Or you can just totally take them off altogether if that's what you want to do. I put on the Reflex Recurve wraparound handguards, and I really like these. They were the easiest handguards I've ever put on before. And what I think was really cool about them, you know, they install like any other wraparound where you just have to cut the end here and put it in and tighten it up. But what's cool about this one, on the Recurve model, like I said, the original, I don't know if it's the original, but one of them, it comes here and it clamps to the bars, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. This one comes down, and it actually, you just take the clamps off that are on your bars right here on the triple, and then you put these bolts in, and it's actually two pieces. So when you're looking at it right here, you can see there's a cord, that metal cord that sits right there. It sticks out like that, and then this piece right here just slides right over top of that cord, and then you come over here to this Allen screw and you just tighten it up. So I really like it. Would definitely buy those again. The Chirby bottom fork guards, I went with the STR up front, disc guard up here. They make this in carbon fiber. I felt no need to get that. I spent enough money on this bike. I am a little bit vertically challenged, so I went with the Seat Concepts Comfort Low Seat. So now I'm able to flat foot it. Another really cool thing about the comfort seat here is it flares out a little bit. So when you're riding, once you peg your legs to the tank like that and you slide back, it really keeps you from sliding back. Plus you can sit back, it's a little bit more comfortable. To talk about the Get ECU, first of all, before I talk about that, let's talk about the stock power. Stock power on this bike, I think, is fine. I mean, it's definitely a little bit plugged up, but the power is extremely manageable. And I just wanted to take it to the next level. I just wanted to have something where I can switch maps, and that's why I went with the Get ECU. And what's really cool about this is it has the two map switches. So map switch 1 is where all your power's at. So like that would be for the motocross track, just open desert, street, or if you just want the, you know, that extra grunt power. And it's definitely noticeable compared to the stock power. And then if you're, say you're in an area where the ground is a little bit more loose or technical, you just drop it down to map 2, and you can literally do that as you're riding. You can feel the power drop. It's really cool. I coupled that with this Get traction control knob, and if you look right here, it goes all the way from 0, and you can dial it up 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. So you could take it all the way to 10. So you go to map 2, dial it up in 10, and this thing just becomes a little tractor. I mean, it's so much fun. The power is so manageable on this bike. Okay, a couple things I don't like about the bike. One is the price. My God, these bikes are expensive, but hey, you know, it is what it is. This is a 2024, unfortunately. The other thing I really don't like about it is on my KTM, the fuel pump is down here in the tank, okay? So you have the fuel pump that comes down here, so you're able to use all the fuel that's on the wings right here. On the 2024 models, this is for, not only for Husqvarnas, but for the KTMs, I believe, also did the same thing. I'm not positive, but they have the fuel pump higher. And the reasoning behind that had to do with contamination or something. I read that somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. They say you're able to use the fuel down here if you're doing hard enduro, but I mean, I don't do a ton of hard enduro on this. So if you're out on the street, man, you get down, you know, matter of fact, my fuel's down here right now. My low light's going to come on here pretty soon. So I'm only getting 50 miles before my low light comes on, and that's just not unacceptable if you ask me. However, Mike at Takamoto has run into this issue himself. I've seen it on his videos, and he is in the works of coming up with an aftermarket product to alleviate that issue. I can tell you, I'm waiting very patiently. Yeah, so I think that's about all I have to say about that. I am still running the stock front tire. I just haven't had the time to go down and get me another one. So one of the things I want to talk about, and I know it's probably going to be asked, is, you know, how's the vibration? How's the vibration on these bikes? Okay, disclaimer, this is the first 501 I've ever owned. Like I said, the biggest bike I've had was a CRF 450. You don't even think about vibrations though, but there is a little bit of vibration on the bike, okay, when you're out on the street. I can notice it a little bit in the hands, maybe a little bit more in the feet. However, with that being said, it is nothing like I have read where they were saying, you know, my hands are falling asleep, you know. So everybody has a different tolerance level. It's a little vibey, But you're not out here, you're definitely, I mean, I don't feel it at all. And on the street, it's not even an issue. I don't even think about it. So maybe the later generations or the earlier generations, whatever you want to say, maybe they vibrate it more than this one does. I don't know. But if that is keeping you on the fence of buying one, and it definitely for me, because when I read it, I was a little bit freaked out about buying this bike because it's a lot of money. And I was like, man, I hate to get this bike, you know, and my hands are going to fall asleep and everything. Well, I didn't even get a chance to test ride one. I just said, the hell with it, I'm going to buy it. So I bought it, and the best thing I can do is if you have a buddy that has one of these bikes, take it out for a ride, if they'll let you, and judge for yourself. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. But like I said, this is the only one that I've ever owned, so maybe the other models are a little bit more vibey. And the other thing is, like I said, man, it's expensive, but I'm in my mid-50s, man. I ain't got much time left, and right now I'm out doing what I love to do. Even if it's only 20 minutes a day, man, this is awesome. It gets me off the couch when I really want to go riding, but I want to load up the truck, and this thing is so much fun. So if you got any questions, feel free to ask, and I hope I can help you out. And if you're on the fence, man, pull the trigger, because you can't take the money with you. Take care.